Hi, I'm Luke Norman. I'm the chairman at US Gold Corp. We're a NASDAQ listed company, USAU symbol. We have a gold and copper porphyry system down in Cheyenne, Wyoming that we are right on the front end of developing.
Good to see you. And welcome to London.
Thank you. I love it. My favorite city in the world.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. But you're here to do business, not sightsee. So you're at the one-to-one conference. Pretty busy over there.
Yeah, very. Yeah.
Seeing the right sort of investors?
We are. Like it's amazing to see this sudden turnaround. Well, it's not that amazing. I guess we've all witnessed the metals prices, but it's great to see a resurgence in interest and people wanting to come and talk to us poorly mining companies.
Well, yeah, it's come off a tough few years, but I think look, everyone's in the mood for this. The money is there and readily available. You've got yourself an advanced development project in North America, which kind of helps. Gold prices, both on gold and copper in your case, doing their thing. But you're working your way through to DFS, right? That's when are you hoping to deliver that?
So just for people listening, DFS, Definitive Feasibility Study, that will be concluded most likely mid-December, but
2025.
2025.
Real soon.
Yes, very soon.
Okay.
But we'll publicly release it, I imagine, in January. Don't use putting that out in the Christmas holiday break.
Yeah. Okay, so that's real soon. Then what?
Then that is going to trigger, obviously, our project financing phase.
Right.
Which sounds like another boring episode in the storyline of US Gold Corp. Not at all. We've been through that permit phase. We've been through the all the boring engineering aspects. Actually, the finance phase. We've seen so many term sheet come across our desk in the last 12 months. So now it's just a matter of sitting down with those parties and negotiating what's best for the company.
Right. If I look at the last economic study, what it seems to suggest to me, and obviously you're firming up, and there's going to be a bit of movement on cost, always is. It's a less than a 1 year payback, right? So this project is not capital intensive, and it's certainly not on the sustaining. That's really low. And I mean, that's what I look to immediately and go, is this thing financeable? I'm going, but you've got to make it happen. So what conversations have you had, or are you going to have? What type of money are you looking for?
So the off-takers, the streamers, obviously there's a slew of readily available capital, really a lot of capital chasing very few projects that are permitted and ready to go, right? So we have that advantage, but I think still there's been question marks around the cost of capital, the cost of building for the project.
Right.
People feel that it's always been a bit light from our end. And it's just simply because of the location and the simplicity of the mining of the deposit. But
what do you mean by that? Explain why. What are the benefits you take advantage of?
Well, of course, the project sits 20 miles outside of a major resource hub, in that being Cheyenne, Wyoming, which is a captive employment audience for us, clearly. There is a lot of infrastructure in place, which power, water, roads, all there. So if we were trying to build this up in the snow belts in Alaska or something, it would be an entirely different undertaking.
Right.
But we're 2.5 miles south of us, Martin Marietta Minerals running a quarry. They're just a granite quarry, and we're a glorified quarry, just with a little more infrastructure to extract the minerals.
Well, let's see if you can back that up. Okay, it's like quarrying rather than mining. In what way? I mean, what is the process?
Well, we're harvesting rock. Some of that rock is infused with gold and copper, unlike our neighbors to the south. That particular rock is signed off by a geologist, put onto a particular pile. Now it is just crushed into pulverized into about a 60 micron sand, and that runs through a flotation circuit.
Right.
We extract gold and copper and silver concentrate, and that is just sold off site directly like that. So no smelting on site. Okay. It is very, very similar to quarrying.
Okay, so simple crushing, flotation, that's it.
That's it.
So that kind of explains why they're going to CapEx figure. Yep. Some people go, well, that's a bit light, and you're arguing to me that, well, actually, that's all we need to do.
Yeah.
Right.
We're not building man camps and airstrips and trying to bring power in from 100 kilometers away and roads. It's all there for us. So it's and again, a workforce. That's huge. Even in Nevada, they're having trouble now getting, employment, getting people to come and work in the mines. It's a struggle.
So I'm trying to understand the margins, potential margins. We've got to get this DFS done, right?
Yeah.
But the last study seems to suggest it was like under $1,000. Do you expect that still to be the case going forward?
We expect the capex, so the building cost of the project, to increase significantly, but not relative to the prices in the metals and the movement. But yeah, we're foreseeing higher costs because we've actually added some additional things to the project, including fully lining our tailings facility, just other things that keep the state and the locals happy. So the cost of that development's going to come up, but the margins on the project have just increased dramatically, as they have in a lot of projects.
Right. Okay. So the opportunity here is to go out, get this thing financed. I'd like to say, I think the interesting thing to me was that's an 1-year payback. If that can continue to be the case, I don't expect you to find this too hard. In terms of some of the other kind of long poles in the tent, as it were, you are permitted.
Yep.
For everything, is there anything outstanding that you need to be chasing down?
Nothing.
Nothing. So
Nothing.
No delays, no bumps on the road. Okay. No. People-wise, in terms of that recruitment and building this thing out is the hard bit. Building it and then ramping it up. So how does it get built?
So by the local workforce, gig employment, which is amazing. Again, if we were in a different location, we'd have to have people sitting by in a camp waiting for one group to finish, electrical engineers maybe to finish, so plumbing, mechanical can start. Those people are at home at night in their own beds. They're working on distribution centers for the Amazons or databases, for these massive computer databases that are going in within the I-80 corridor. So they're just moving job to job to job and living at home at night. So you have the flexibility of a competitive workforce.
Right, but this is basically outsourcing the build against the capex, the crushing and the flotation, etc. You're not hiring that in-house, clearly, outsource for that bit. In terms of the operational component moving forward, you say there's a ready trained workforce there for you. Yeah, sure of it.
Right. I mean, all right, so we're going to run foundations for crusher, grinder, and obviously where we're putting our flot cells. So we'll be using borrow source from a pre-strip. We're bringing a batch plant, and we'll use local employees and employment to run that operation. So it's just all there, right on our doorstep.
Okay, and we obviously we were there. I was pointing to someone behind the camera here who's actually came to site with me, and we sort of looked at the kind of the layout and where everything's being positioned. It seems quite kind of compact at the moment. At what point do you start kind of building out the infrastructure outside of obviously the crush and the flotation?
Well, step one is actually get the haul road in, which also ticks the boxes on the industrial sidings permit and the permit to mine, because now we're an active project. From there, it's create a bit of pre-strip to start, obviously from aside the haul road, but just start the foundation work for crusher, grinder, flotation. And then we'll bring in concrete. We're only warehousing the flotation circuit. We don't need warehousing, of course, for backup equipment because of that proximity again to rail and major mining hubs.
We mentioned the rail actually. So the rail is how far?
Rail's 2.5, 3 miles directly south of us, Union Pacific, or 6 miles to the north by Burlington Northern Santa Fe.
Do you still intend to look at the kind of aggregates as a component in the DFS?
Not in the DFS. We're not going to bring the values of it in. It's going to be
separate.
Yeah, it's going to be a comment within the definitive feasibility study as other opportunities. But what we are exploring very hard is potential rail access for a bulk commodity that is going to eventuate from us.
Okay. So give us a sense of timing in all of this one, because like you say, you're one of more advanced North American gold, copper producers potentially. But you kind of got to hit the cycle, got to hit the timing and all of that. So what are you aiming for?
Well, we've been really fortunate with the cycle and the timing. Obviously, I mean, our boring phase, nothing was happening in the metals mining space. We just get permitted in November of last year, and the market starts to wake up and pay attention. So that's good. I feel like we're still flying well under the radar of most people, for awareness, but we're working on that. Definitive, again, complete out, let's say, mid-January. From there, we'll enter into the full suite of project financing discussions. That in itself is going to generate a lot of interest around the project. I think that the definitive might even trigger some interest from an M&A perspective, clearly, having this fully permitted now line item categorized costing on different contracts to build the project. There'll be no more questions about whether we're undershooting or not on CapEx. So I think it's going to be a really fast and furious 2026 for us.
Right. Okay. So we've had a lot of companies through this week, and obviously, the past few months where you've got producers talking a good game. They're throwing off cash for fun at the moment. Everyone's talked the game of M&A. What do you think that you've got that they might be looking for?
Basically, one of the only permitted shovel-ready projects ready to go in North America.
At scale.
Yeah, at scale. Yeah. And look, we've got, a 1.7 million ounce reserve, but anyone who wants to take a look at the data can see another 1 million ounces plus potential for, harvesting within the pit. I think we're one of the more exciting stories out there.
So, I mean, just break that down a little bit. Okay, we're talking about 100,000 plus ounces a year, maybe 110. 10-year life mine minimum and expandable from there. In terms of things like grade, is it about the economics or is it about the grade? Is it the open pit? I mean, everyone's got their own view of what's important to them. But what are you selling?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's not highly impressive grade if you read the headline numbers, but when you've got ore exposed at surface and you have to move so little rock to be immediately into ore. In fact, the ore is right at surface and the richest stuff at surface. And then the simplicity of the metallurgy, just being able to crush it and basically run it through a light laundry detergent to capture it through the float circuits. And having all that infrastructure already in place, right outside of a township. They're all sales points. They're all selling points. I mean, this is a unique, it's a word, I overuse it, but it's just a tremendous location and timing and opportunity.
Okay, but if we look at your team, obviously you're working towards, you're outsourcing the building, but you are nevertheless building this thing out. You are or have been explorers. You've obviously got Nevada, Idaho as well in the background, which you'll get on to. Deliver this first, please. Would you prefer to kind of flip this thing out, or would you look to, does the kind of cash, annuity stream of cash attract you as well for future development or exploration?
This is what drives me. This is what drives the company and the management of the company is the equity in the company.
Right.
So whatever is best for the stock, if somebody was to come along and say, hey, if we bring you in under our, we're already in production on another project, 1 + 1 is 3 or 4, we'll consider that and we'll discuss it with our shareholders and we'll see if that's going to be more beneficial. Building it out, which is absolutely all our focus is right now, it appears to be by far the smartest option on the table at the moment, is going to create a lot of value in the equity too. So regardless, I think we're creating more and more value that has not yet been recognized in the marketplace. So, how
you construct it is another matter. Because it's interesting to me when these acquisitions take place, there's a kind of cash component and then there's a stock component to it, and they're each valued slightly differently on your balance sheet. Should a trade happen, but it's more a case of what does the continuing blue sky mean for you and how you allocate that cash to develop those other exploration targets.
Okay.
So you got to get that balance right. So how do you tackle that?
Well, look, the keystone project within our portfolio would be the number one, in our portfolio behind what we're doing at CK right now.
Where's that at?
That's right in Nevada, sitting right across from the Cortez complex, which is Barrick / Nevada Gold Mines' largest gold endowment on the planet. I mean, it's responsible for about another $40 billion worth of additional value to Barrick in the last several months with the work they've done and announced at 4 Mile, one of the new discoveries within the Cortez complex. And we have a project, a standalone domal kind of look-alike, smaller, but look-alike project just sitting across the valley, staring right at them. So yeah, I think in this marketplace, I'd like to get in there and drill test that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, I'm excited about the DFS coming. You'll announce that in the new year, January, hopefully. And why don't we see you then?
Look forward to it.
Travel well, travel safe, and yeah, good year this year, right?
Yeah, let's keep it going.
Keep it going. Good man. Cheers.
Thank you.